Are you ready? Are you ready? Open your heart, let that love energy fill you up until it's got to come out with, we love you, we bless you, and we know you are perfect. So today is International Forgiveness Day. I think, noticing the things going on around the planet, that it's a good day to have some forgiveness going on. So those of you who've known me for a while know that I don't like to do a lot with forgiveness because I think that the basic premise of it is flawed. Someone hurt you and you need to forgive them. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. What happened is that we are powerful, creative, spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual law. We create our experiences. We actually bring people into our experience and then take from them what aligns and coincides with what we are believing about who we are. People are just mirrors to us. And then we look at the mirror and we get mad at the mirror. And so we go to therapy. And oh yes, there's a lot to be said, about all of the mirrors that have reflected things we didn't like to see. And the work then is maybe just letting it be okay. Oh, just grow up, suck it up. This is Barbara. Grow up, suck it up, cupcake, let it go, let's move on, have a happy day. And what some people do is they don't just let it go, they stuff it down. And so for those of you who are all about the process and all about the feelings of this, today is your lucky day. Because I want to talk about the process. I want to talk about some of the feelings that we have and where those come from so that we can have a greater level of understanding of what's going on in us, because sometimes something just happens, boom, and we're gone. I don't know where Barbara Waterhouse went, but there's this angry person who took over my body, took over my thoughts. There's someone who gets triggered off into a so familiar, repetitive pattern. Look at your relationships. I mean, I can look at my marriages. Same person, different name. And know that the only one that was the same in those relationships was me. And so how in the world did that happen exactly the same way? And then I go take a step back, because I have done my share of therapy, and take a step back from the marriages, and who have I got but my father and my mother, all acting out in a perfectly orchestrated dance so that I will feel a feeling again. Feeling abandonment, feeling not good enough, feeling unloved, feeling left out. Those feelings that I've carried with me and gone up to perfectly nice people, flash my smile, say, hey, you want to be in my life? And I take that perfectly nice person and turn them into an ogre. And then I blame them, but really all that it's about is me cultivating this feeling over and over and over again. Now, I believe that we were born to heal, and you'll hear me say that. Tricia, your arm was born to heal. Born to heal. We were born to heal, and that's not only physically, but that is psychologically and emotionally also. And so if we've got something going on inside of us that is not reflective of, I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth, I am God in form as me and all is well, if we have something that is not that, it's born to heal. I'm going to bring it up again and again and again and again until I do something with it, until I shift the energy around it, until I change the belief, until I see it differently. I'm going to bring that experience up again, and there are people in my world who love me so much, they'll play the part. They could have been nice to me, but no, they love me so much, they'll be mean to me. They love me so much, they'll take advantage of me. They love me so much, they'll reject me. Isn't that great? Isn't it wonderful that there are people in your life that love you so much, they'll be mean to you, take advantage of you, and reject you, when they would have been much happier being nice and being in love's only love, No, they love us so much, they'll play that part. It's true. So that we can heal it, so that we can change it. So here's the process. Everybody, take a deep breath. We come into this world wide open. We don't have defenses set up. We don't even know the difference between self and other. You know, a newborn baby cannot tell the difference between themselves and their mother. They have no way of psychologically differentiating self from other. They are just wide open to the oneness of it all. And then, invariably, something happens. Now, some people's story has a big thing happen. Some people's story has a little thing happen. It doesn't matter. Something happens. A baby can feel excruciating pain from being hungry. Now, if you've spent any time around babies, you know that they get hungry regularly. And no matter how quickly you grab them and put them to the breast or give them a bottle or whatever, there is pain. Babies can feel pain from diapers. They can feel pain from cold. They have no way to differentiate and say, oh, this is just about food. I'm hungry. I'm cold. It's going to get fixed in a minute. They don't know any of that. They know the oneness and excruciating pain. That's it. Everybody's got the same story. You put different scenarios around yours. Doesn't matter. It's the exact same story. Everybody moves out of that experience of oneness into an experience of two-ness. And we call it psychological development. It's true. We go from the oneness to the terrible twos. The terrible twos are just, I'm not my mother. I'm not you. No, 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 no. That's what that is. I want to find my identity. I'm not you. I'm me. I'm separated. No. That's the terrible twos. And we make some basic assumptions about who we are and what life is about from those primal experiences. Everybody does it. You're not special. I don't care how big your deal was, you're not special. Everybody does it. Everybody has that same experience. But then, now this is, I do know my psychology, so take another deep breath. There is a psychological phenomenon that happens with young children where they cannot deal, they do not have the capacity to deal with the idea that they are not safe in their world. That is why the child who has been put in the hospital, beaten to a pulp, will run to the parent that beat them and ignore the one that tried to protect them. It's a psychological thing. They can't handle the idea that someone in their world would hurt them and would put them in danger. They just literally don't have the ability to think that thought. And so what children do is, so that they don't make the situation wrong, they make themselves wrong. I'll be good, I'll be better, I upset so-and-so, I won't do that anymore, I'll be good. As if there's a basic sense that they were bad, which is why the pain happened. Happens to everybody, everybody does that, part of the human experience. So here you have a person who came into the world in this wide open space, had something happen that was painful, decided to pull back from life, made themselves wrong for it, because they can't afford to make anybody else wrong, made themselves wrong, and then tried to cover it up. Everybody does it. So what do? They stuff it down. They say, I won't be bad anymore. I won't use my loud voice. I won't ask for food. I won't wet my pants. I won't whatever. They make themselves wrong and they shove it down. Now, they don't go through a cathartic healing for this. They totally suppress it. That's what kids do. Suppress it. The problem is that we are all one. So you have this thing suppressed and it's going to have to come out. Emerson said, who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. It's got to come out. And so what we do is we suppress it, we deny it, we repress it, and now this is a psychological word, and then we project it onto somebody else. Maybe you've heard of this idea of projection. It is when we lay trips on other people that they have no business carrying for us. They're only carrying it for us because we've dumped it on them. We look at this perfectly reasonable, neutral person and say, no, 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 you are. You're a bad person, you're a man, you're a bad person, you're a woman, you're a bad person, you're old, you're a bad person, you're young, you're a bad person, you're rich, you're a bad person, you're poor, you're a bad person. It's all us. What is the phrase? If you spot it, you got it. And then we react to that from a higher level of wanting to heal that original pain and separation. But from a lower level, we just go around pointing our fingers at people, blaming people, criticizing people, being angry with people, being upset with people. And if you've ever been angry, criticized, blamed, or been upset with somebody, that's your opportunity to heal. So as I look at this idea of forgiveness, it's not saying, oh, you're just a terribly screwed up person, but I'm going to be spiritually superior to you and I'm going to forgive you for all of your wrongs. That's not right. It's not looking at someone and saying, well, that's the past, we'll just forget about it, as if we can ever forget about it. It's all firmly planted in our subconscious mind, and we act it out with our bodies, with our money, with our relationships, with our jobs, with our experience of life. We act that subconscious stuff out over and over and over again. Louise Hay, famous religious science minister, her one and only main affirmation, no matter how many pages you look through in her book on You Can Heal Your Life, is all about, I love myself the way I am. I love and accept myself just the way I am. There's nothing wrong with me. Because what she found back in the 70s, I think the 70s was her heyday, literally riding around in the hay cart, was that a lot of people who had jumped into the paradigm of HIV and AIDS really were suffering from a deep schism inside of themselves where they felt that there was something really bad about them because in the culture at that time they were made wrong for their sexual preference, as if love isn't love. And so there was something wrong and they had to shove it down, and what that does is that makes you sick. Ernest Holmes says, there is a connection between forgiving and healing. Most people have a deep unconscious sense of guilt, even though it seldom rises into conscious perception. If we have a deep sense of divine forgiveness, that there is nothing in the divine nature which holds anything against us, we shall carry at the very center of our being a healing power. You never did anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's only that light and love of spirit as you. And as we open up to that inside of ourselves, we open up to that in other people. And when we close down to that inside of ourselves, we project it out onto someone else. And then because the higher level here is to heal, we react to it so that we'll bring it in the foreground of our conscious awareness, and someone loves us so much that they will play that part for us. Now think about it. Think about the things that at one time in your life you felt like someone did to you. They didn't do it to you. They did it for you. And instead of there being a concept of forgiveness, there really is only the statement of gratitude. Thank you for helping me see on the outside the pain that I still carry within me, that I don't want anybody to see, especially at the Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, where we're supposed to have a happy day every day. God, that's a lot of pressure. She wants me to be happy all the time. Well, what about this pain that I have inside? Oh, don't let anybody see it. Shove it down. Except, did you see where that person parked? They took up 2 parking spaces. Oh my God, they've got a dog in their car. Oh my God, they're so wrong, wrong, wrong. that sense of separation and judgment and upset comes from the buried feeling of pain, which in and of itself is a lie. But we can't get to it and bring it out to the light of day without being willing to get to it and bring it out to the light of day. And as long as we're blaming somebody else for the feelings that we're feeling, we're never going to get to it. We're never going to get to it. And so we'll be doomed to live in a prison of our own making, of blaming people and other people controlling us. God, I hate that. I don't use that word very often, but somebody really wants to get me, just control me. But really, that's me looking at being willing to let up that sense of being out of control that I experienced so often as a child. And if I can realize that I'm always supported by love and light and life, then I don't need to react to someone just because I'm pinned in a parking lot. I can let that go, and I can realize that instead of a traditional form of forgiveness, the only thing to say is thank you. Thank you, Mom. Thanks, Dad. Thank you for showing me my power at such a young age. I never, ever question that. I know I'm going to land on my feet because I got an opportunity to do it over and over and over again. Thank you, all those kids in the neighborhood and at school who looked at me so derisively because I was dirty and hungry. Because what you taught me is that I don't have to depend on your approval. Thank you. Thank you, husband number one. Thank you. Thank you for showing me that even if I marry someone rich, if I bring my poverty consciousness into that relationship, we're going to be poor before you know it. Thank you, husband number two. For showing me that whatever I say when I'm doing what I do in my genius is good. He used to love to criticize me after my talks. And you know, there was a while when I believed him until I realized that I trust myself more than that. Thank you, all of those long-term relationships, so that I would be the kind of person that can be in marriage number 3. Thank you. You know how strong a woman has to be to let her husband go to work in a different state? Really? You know how clear I have to be about who I am to keep putting John on a plane and saying, goodbye, darling, go chase your dreams. This is your genius. I was talking to him about, he was doing pipe ceremony with the kids and sleeping in a teepee, and he said something, and I said, oh, you're getting all native on me. You're getting ready to do pipe ceremony. This is your genius. I said, those kids are running up to you and throwing themselves through the air into your arms, aren't they? He said, yeah, and I love it. When we are clear about who we are, we can let someone else be who they are. And then you have a real relationship. And when I'm clear about who I am, I can let the world be okay without having to stand in judgment of every politician or every country's tendency toward violence. I don't have to be in judgment. I can be in love because I have enough love to go. So I want you to know that on this International Day of Forgiveness, what you have is an opportunity to change your story. From this happened to me to this happened for me. From this was taken away from me to this was a gift. Because that which is yours can never be taken from you, and that which is not yours you can't keep. Doesn't matter, you can't keep it. And they can't take anything that is truly yours. So instead of this was done to me, this was done for me. Instead of this was taken from me, this is a gift. And I just want you to know I'm going to continue this lesson tomorrow night as our prosperity class. Because what I've noticed is that people who are wanting to get either better health or more money or a better job or a better relationship or a better experience of life, when their hands are so full of anger and resentment and judgment, there's no room to put anything new in. So in my constant quest of how do we facilitate everyone's life getting better and better and better, we have to learn how to let go of what we don't want anymore. And if that takes a little process and some feelings, I want you to know I'm up for it. Because the truth is that you have never done anything wrong. You are a magnificent being of light and love with more power than we would know what to do with. Our lives are our own choice and our own making. That's true forgiveness, to forgive for good. And so it is.